Alright guys, so this time we're going to be making one of these. So I just made this one just to test the waters. I've not actually glued these on. These are actually a really good snug fit. So I'm debating whether or not I should glue them. It would be easier to paint with them off. I'm just wondering whether with the added paint layers perhaps this will be a strong enough joint just as it is that you could, you know, just push them on and not have to glue them, but I'll decide that later. The only other part that isn't on here is the rear booster that goes underneath. And the detail on this particular model is fantastic, especially inside the engines. Definitely the strongest mini in this kit. Very easy to put together, minimal cleanup as you're about to see. I've also added the magnets to the drop pod, the connection thingies, except I kind of drilled the hole slightly out of alignment on that rear one. It just means that when I try and attach like a vehicle, for example, one of the robots, it's a bit wobbly because it can't make a really tight joint, but as you can see it holds really well. So there we go. So I'll put this one down. We'll crack on with this other one I've got underneath here. So it only comes in a few pieces. There's a big nub on the end of here that you need to get rid of, which is, you know, it's easy. There it is, gone. I'll get a file and just file that down just a bit. And then it's just a case of looking around, looking for any flash, any mold lines. If there's going to be mold lines, it'll be along the edge. The only thing I could think of is there's a subtle mold line on the front of that cockpit, so I'll just get rid of that. Being careful not to hit those little aerial things that are on the sides, because there's a bit of fine detail and this will sand it away, and we wouldn't want that. Right then, so that's this. Ooh, that one's pretty much done really. There's a bit of next bit. See, this one's got a big knob here, so you've got to be careful with this one. You can't obviously get right in there because of the you know, the clippers are just not going to get in there. But try and get as far as you can and clip it off. And then it's a case of using a file. I'm using this file, which is like it's round on one edge, flat on the other, which is perfect for getting in here. This bit takes a little bit of time. You just be careful you don't accidentally file the side walls down, because you want this to connect with this as flush as possible. And if you do it right, there'll be a nice panel line after the join. So just take your time. Nearly there. Oops, wrong side then. This is the most time-consuming thing to do on this particular mini. So you could, if you wanted to, is have a dry fit, and you see how there's, you know, it's not sitting flush at all. So I really need to get rid of all of this. There we go. Nearly there. So it's worth checking as you go at that point, just to check the fit, see how it's going. One thing that can help is actually just filing down this top bit. I'd say it's probably as good a fit as you're going to get. So for the glue, I'm just going to put the glue. Actually, before I do the glue, let me just check the rest of this piece to see if there's any. See, there's nothing to clean up on that piece. That's nice. So I'm going to put a bit of glue in the bottom here. There you go, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit there as well. And then very carefully bring the two parts together. Like so. Oh. Sorry. I just noticed after I glued that it wasn't quite at the right angle, so I'm gonna take that off. Use this spray kicker to just harden any of the super glue that's there. See if I can fix this. So I'm gonna have to sand away some of this super glue. Right then. Oop. Let's try that again. See, sitting flush, well, is making that bit stick up. You can see there, like that, which isn't what we want. So I'm going to try and flatten this bit off a bit more. Try again. This is slightly more difficult than the other one I just did. I think it's going to be a case of putting the super glue on and just being very careful how I bring the parts together, and hope that it glues in the way I want. There we go, that's better. So this joint isn't as flush as it was on the other model, unfortunately, because as I said before, this is probably the strongest model in the kit. It looks the best, in my opinion, and goes together reasonably well, or at least the other one did. As you can see, this one, the join is like pretty much perfect. This one, not so much. You can see that the two things here, they sort of flay out a bit more than they probably should. I can push them in a bit actually, so perhaps if I be very careful, hold them there, I might be able to glue them in with some of the thin super glue. How am I going to do this? You know what? I'm not gonna risk it. I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's a bit deep for a panel line, but better that than ruining all the detail with the thin super glue. Anyway, so that bit's done. So the other bits, they're really easy. It's just a case of clipping off the nub, being very careful to just leave a little bit behind to file away. Better that than cut into it and then have to fill it, so I use a stiffer stick to get most of this work done. This resin works really nicely, but it's very easy to clean up and sand. So you've got to be a bit more careful, but it just means it's just a lot shorter. You don't really have to work too hard. And then it's a case of just looking around, seeing if there's some flashing. There is some flashing on this one. Ah, I see. Okay. Don't know if you guys can see this, but there is a there you go. Can you see that light patch? And there's a bubble. See there? So that bit there is completely hollow. So there's been an air bubble in the casting process. And from the outside you can't really see it. If it was painted, it'd be fine. But it's that tiny hole, which you'd want to fill really. So I'm just going to have to be careful with this one. Actually, I can see a few air bubbles in the blades. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up. It's really small, but there's a tiny bubble in one of the fins. So this part hasn't come out great. I mean, it's a lot better than a lot of resin stuff I've seen. I see, yeah, that's going to buckle. So I guess I'm going to have to carefully fill that later. But then that's basically it. And then it's up to you whether or not you want to glue this in. Oh, this one's a lot stiffer. Ah, I see. There's a something in there. I'll just drill that out basically. Does that work? There you go, it's much better. So again, it's a nice tight fit. I'll glue that afterwards. This kit comes with 3 of these, which is nice. In fact, it's exactly the amount required, I think, to carry all the battle walkers and tanks. Which probably makes sense. So I've already noticed a few bubbles on this piece. Yeah, this particular dropship, it hasn't come out as good as the other one. I don't think it's something. It's well, see, there's a big bubble there. You see it? The thing is, it's the bubbles on the fins which are the tricky ones, because you can't really do anything about them. It's too delicate. There's no way you'll be able to fill that and then somehow sand it down without ruining everything. You can't even get sandpaper in there. But that one on the center part should be okay. Right then. Let's have a look around, just check there's nothing else. Oh, there's a tiny air bubble inside there, but I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, this particular dropship isn't as good as the other one I did. I hope the third one is better. Yeah, that's a pretty loose fit on this one. Yeah, these are going to have to be glued. The final part you need to concern yourself with is this one. And to be honest, that has been so cleanly removed from whatever sprue it was attached to, there really isn't anything to be done. That part is fine. Oh, no, wait. That makes sense. That's the one that I did previously. Stupid. Here it is. I was going to say that was too good to be true. How nice would that be if models just came all pre-cut from the sprue, perfectly filed down and cleaned up? It'd make our jobs a lot easier. So the panel line, there's a panel line on here, but it's hasn't been cast very well. It was stronger on the other one, but because of the nature of the part and where it is, I'm not going to worry myself trying to fix it. Ah, that's interesting. Do you see that? There's something inside there. Now, yeah, that's like a bubble, but like the opposite to what I've been seeing. Yeah, that's solid. Now that's weird, very weird. Not sure how to deal with this. This is a shame. So I'm just trying to essentially scrape it out. There's really not a lot I can do to get in there to kind of clean that up. That's it's a real shame, because the detail inside these nozzles is fantastic, really, really good. It's the kind of detail you wouldn't expect anyone to really bother putting in, but it's really nice that it's there. But yeah, this is definitely unfortunate. Oh well. Just so you know what you could expect. There's a bubble there as well on the end. I've tried my best to clean that up, but oh well. So that's all the parts. The only thing left to do is to drill these holes for the magnets. Now this is the really tricky bit. You've got to make sure this pilot hole that you make is spot on, because when you drill it you don't want to do what I did and accidentally get it offset. So first of all, it doesn't look good, and second of all, it doesn't make a very nice join. Right. Love this thing, it's great for pilot holes. You can really dig it into this resin as well. That join is not great. What I could do, because it's resin, is dip this in boiling hot water, take it out, push those sides in where I want them until it cools. And that should fix the problem actually, so I'll probably do that. Do it off camera though. So you just be very careful when you're drilling. Make sure you are drilling in the place you want to be drilling. It's one of those things that once you start doing it though, and you're sort of committed. But do take it out periodically and check you're at the right depth. It's a bit further. There you go, that's near enough the centre. It's better than the last one I did. Make sure you orientate your magnets properly as well. So just get one of your models, clip it on, make sure, then so you know which way you're meant to push these in. Now these, I'm not even gluing these now because these push in so they're so stiff. They're not coming out. But you could glue them. I'm just worried that I might squeeze glue out everywhere and it'll ruin something. So there you go, and then you can test it. There you go, see? Snug fit. Try with one of the walker bodies. Yeah. These are a bit wobblier, but it's an extra bonus really. It probably means you don't have to use a token in the game to designate when your dropship is carrying something, if you can just magnetically attach things underneath. So right then, so the final hole. I guess you could magnetize the thrusters on this as well, but I don't see the point in that. I think gluing them in a sort of 45 degree down sort of position, so it's like not quite hovering but not quite full thrust forwards, sort of gives the message across that it's coming in to drop something. There we go. Just try that. Get the magnets out, make sure I get them the right way. Like so, see? Then if you put this one in at the top, then it'll be the right orientation to pick up the tanks. There we go. One more thing then, which I haven't looked at myself, but seeing as these are the flying vehicles, let's have a look at the flying bases. Now, I briefly mentioned this in my unboxing video. They come with these small parts. Oop. Now these are there so that you don't have to see the acrylic rods. Ordinarily you would just rest the model on there, but that's just get it in frame. That's just gonna be it's wobbly model syndrome. You don't want to have to deal with that. So this is a nice touch because I've seen things like this in the past, and they you've just meant to glue it to the model or just let it sit there and wobble. But these are made so that you glue these to your model instead. Oop. And then the acrylic rod can just push in there, sit snug, and it solves the problem. So this is a really nice touch. Now you could glue it on now, or you could glue it on later. But if you do glue it on later, which is what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to glue these later so that they can stay transparent. It'll just be a case of whatever paint's in the bottom here, just scrape it out so that there's a better join for the super glue. Then you can glue it on at the very end, not worry about having to mask this off or anything. For the bases themselves, you get these clear acrylic, and they have a sticky back sort of like protective cover on them, which you have to peel off very carefully. I wonder if a knife will make this work a bit easier. There you go. Just be careful not to scratch the surface because these look really nice. I think, is there one on the back? There you go. That looks cool. Super clear. Now, if these are anything like bases I've seen before, this rod will not sit in here. It won't go in easily. Now, you can either drill the hole wider, but then you have to glue this or you can persevere and be very careful, and I believe you can basically sort of twist it on, but it takes a little work and you do not want to snap the rod. See, nearly there. So just be careful, go slow. Try and put the force here, even though it's slippy. Completely smooth, really, because you do not want to put pressure there and have it buckle and snap, because then you'll have to get new flight stands. There you go, it's probably good enough. So you go, bam. Get one of these. We'll put on this dropship here. Look at that. Looks fantastic. Probably look even better with the vehicles and stuff towed underneath. But there we go. That's the dropship. Really simple. As I said, I got a few problems with this particular one, so I hope the third one's doesn't have the same issues. That would be a shame, really, because as I said, the price of these are a lot higher than other starter sets for other miniature games. And I thought that perhaps, you know, I could deal with that if the quality was high enough, but some of these things I really don't like, and they are minor, and it's so minor even that you know, you don't think you should have to make a deal about it, or you don't want to email the customer services and see if you can get a replacement part, because you think, oh, it's such a tiny thing, but at the same time it's a tiny thing that, you know, you shouldn't have to deal with. Or if it's a tiny thing that you just can't fix, like that thruster there. I'm just checking the other ones now, so I'm just going to do a quick check over. We'll see what the quality of this one's like. So this part here is hasn't cast great. There's a bit of a mould line, a bit of detail loss, but nothing to complain about. This part seems good. Same again with this. I love the detail on that. The thrusters, there's a bit of flashing here. There's another little air bubble in the centre bit. Very small one, not a big deal. And this part here, again. So it's just that one, really. Oh, I can't be helped, really. So, I'll tell you what. I'll just quickly clip some of these off for you. Might as well. I'm not going to make a separate video for these. These are only men. It's not a big deal. But they have a lot more detail than I was expecting for such tiny miniatures. And I'm wondering how well I'm going to be able to paint these, because they are probably the smallest thing I've painted. There's probably more metal. In fact, there is. I can feel it weight-wise. There's more metal in this than there is in the miniatures. Not sure how economical it is. I thought metal was meant to be expensive. But oh, sorry. See if we can get a real close-up on this. There you go. Can you see that? Look at the size of my nail compared to this. This is silly. So it looks cool, doesn't it? Let's get this kneeling guy. Let's have a look at this. That's a bit too close. There we go. And then obviously there's a base for them. Did I grab one? There it is. Oh, I did grab one. It's right there. The base just has a plug there, and you can see how it's attached, which means you can clip it, but then you've still got to deal with this bottom bit. So it's at the bottom, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Just get in there, clip as much as you can off, and then do the rest with a sandpaper or sanding sponge or a stick or a file what have you. You know, it would be good if you just get a big piece of sandpaper, slap that down on the top, bit of blue tack on the top to just get some traction, and just rub it side to side. But anyway, I'll sand that properly in a bit. But essentially, you know, you just pick and choose what guy you want in what hole. So there's at least a bit of tiny bit of customization there. I mean, what do you expect with guys this small? I would not want to have to be putting little weapons and things on these guys. It'd just be silly. Well, that one's being awkward. But you get the idea. There you go. Pretty much something like that. Yeah. So there you go. There you have it. Dropzone Commander, the post-Human Republic starter set. You've seen me construct all the miniatures. I'm not actually finished them all because I've still got some bagged up, so I'm hoping that, you know, the rest are good, that I'm not going to see any major problems with those remaining walkers. But hopefully next time you see me, I'll be starting the paint job after I figure out what the hell that's going to be. I kind of like the studio theme, but I kind of want to do something a little different, something that still would remind you of the studio theme, but maybe, you know, an extra colour here or there or something like that, or maybe some camo. I haven't decided yet. So if you've got any ideas of what you might like to see, I mean, at the end of the day, these are going to be sold on eBay, so you know, it might be worth me getting some other people's opinions on what they might like to see. Until next time then, take care, put any comments or questions below, and then I'll see you next time. Bye bye.